My second film study video from the Bengals' surprise upset win over the Titans in the divisional round is completely centered on their offensive line issues. And I really don't think that you can overstate how much trouble they had. Of course, the Titans have a very good defense. If it was only one or two types of stunts that beat this Bengals O-line and we didn't see other issues, I wouldn't be as concerned. I'm very interested in what the Kansas City Chiefs do because the amount of pressure the Titans were able to get while only bringing four-man rushes was, first of all, was incredibly high amount of pressure, 9 sacks, obviously. I think they hit Burrow 12 or 13 times. But the Chiefs are going to have to balance how to cover Jamar Chase. So you can't go too crazy, if you ask me, bring in 5 people consistently. I just don't think you can do it against Joe Burrow and this set of talented athletes. So let's go through these in terms of the concepts. I think this first one is just a basic four-man rush. And the DN to the top side, I think, ends up exchanging gaps. But I'm just pointing out the 4 guys who lined up on the line of scrimmage are the 4 players who rushed. They weren't trying to trick Joe Burrow here. Simmons, 98, gets up, who's a spectacular football player. I think he gets upfield in some manner. It might be through this A gap. It might be through the B. Whatever, he gets upfield. And then this guy ends up cutting underneath of him. I'm not sure that it was a planned stunt that way. No, it doesn't look like it was to me. Just a situation where 98 gets upfield against the left guard, and then the D end or the OLB on the outside, which I think is Landry, is able to run up underneath of that. I don't think that's a planned stunt necessarily that way. It just doesn't look like it to me. I don't see the timing in the exchange of the gaps there. But in any case, they got a sack out of a typical four-man rush. All right, what looks like could also be a typical four-man rush. I think you've got Bud Dupree here, and I think he drops out, and they rush this nickel off the edge. So a four-man stunt, but just bringing a guy off the slot receiver. And again, the Bengals do not pick this up. This one's horrible. You'll see from the end zone angle that this right guard points out that he's going to help out with the one technique just before the ball is snapped. So he's trying to communicate to this guy, you need to take any B-gap rusher. And it really doesn't matter, to be honest with you. I mean, if he does take the B-gap rusher, then this guy's going to be free off the edge. But, of course, you want to take the inside guy first. The most immediate threat to your quarterback, you want to take him first. But in any case, you can see that after the play, they're trying to communicate to each other. Something either wasn't communicated correctly or wasn't communicated at all. I think he just motioned here, maybe to tell the center to snap the football, but it looked like to me he kind of pointed towards the one technique to let everybody know, I'm helping out here. This guy pass sets, and Landry literally runs right through the B-gap untouched. Terrible job. And look, I'm one of those people that thinks extremely highly of the Bengals team. I think they can go in there and compete, maybe even win against Kansas City, but not if their offensive line plays like this. All right, another four-man rush. This time they're going to drop out Landry from here. He was lined up as an edge rusher here. He's going to drop out. And then this backer, which I think is David Long, is going to blitz. So they create a four-man rush. So all they're doing is just varying who's rushing. Last time it was the nickel defender, and this edge player dropped out to the other side. Now the Mike is blitzing, and then this edge defender is dropping out. They're not confusing Joe Burrow, if you ask me. They're confusing the hell out of this offensive line, though. Well, it appears as if they confused them. Let me rephrase that. Because they gave up, they were able to generate 9 sacks. I mean, there's some video evidence that it looks like they confused them. I don't know what was said, pre-snap, in the huddle, whatever, by these guys, but in any case, we know what it looked like on the field. It looked like a CF. This one, absolutely a CF. If you don't know what CF is, can't really help you. It looks like there's going to be a screen over here to this side. The running back goes this way, and we should be thankful. Well, the Bengals should be thankful that Simmons stayed with his key, or what, some type of visual key. He sees Mixon go across the formation, and he is unblocked. So here's Simmons. He's going to get upfield. Mixon's going to cross face here, and he's going to run with Mixon. Thankfully for Bengals, he did, because if he did not, If he went attacked Joe Burrow, I mean, you're talking about a blindside hit when Joe Burrow's facing the other way. Absolutely busted play by this Bengals team. It went down as a sack by Long, but let's check it out over here. So you've definitely got a screen being set up on this side to Boyd. This lineman releasing, this lineman releasing, and this lineman releasing. So they're definitely operating a screen over here. Burrow is looking to the other side. I don't know any read that he's going to have to the other side of the field where you're leaving guys unblocked on this side, and his back is totally unprotected. Really, really surprising day by the Bengals offensive line. They looked incredibly confused, not just on the pass pro, but on this screen play or fake screen play right here. A jet type situation where the D tackles are widened up and the ends are widened up as well. Looks like it will be a typical four-man rush, and it is. And nobody's open. I mean, it's not like there's anyone open, right? So you can't really say much about Burrow. Like, you got to get rid of the football, Joe. I mean, maybe he could hit the back out here, but this curl flat player is sitting right there waiting on him. There's not really any option for Joe Burrow, and he's forced to take a sack, which almost put him out of field goal range. In live speed, I said that was a horrible job by him of taking the sack, but there's just no one open. I love how Simmons plays, the technique that he has. I mean, he's getting locked up by this right guard who was overwhelmed most of the day. And watch him, he's trying to rip underneath with the left arm to try to clear it. He's probably getting held, to be honest with you. Still gets involved in the sack. Great play by Simmons. I think he gets a sack on this next play as well. Here he is right here. Looks like it would be a typical four-man rush again by the Titans. David Long's, I believe this is a third down, and it is. And Simmons literally just runs over the right guard. The Chiefs, if you ask me, are going to put Jones on that side in pass rush situations to attack that right guard. They have to. He's a sieve, at least in this game Sunday against the Titans. I don't think he's been that bad all year, but he was really bad in this game. Maybe there was an injury problem or something like that. Simmons is up underneath of him. 77 is just accepting the block, and he's put on the train tracks. Great play by Simmons, though. I mean, what do you do? Simmons, to me, if he packages together another 3, 4, 5 years like he has, I mean, he's a Hall of Fame caliber player. What looks like sticks coverage here with 6 guys lined up on the line of scrimmage, ready to blitz. And they all blitz, and Landry comes free off the edge. It's the same type of call that the Dolphins used against the Ravens a lot. If you ask me, these guys, he's reading the center, he's reading the guard, he's reading the tackle, and if the guy steps to them, then they're going to call off their blitz. So these two here are dropping out. Dupree is still blitzing. He's the edge rusher, so maybe he doesn't have that read. But that's a read. If he steps to me, then I can peel back because I've done my job. Because numbers-wise now, I can peel back. Same thing. Numbers-wise now, they'd only have, if this center steps this way, these two guys know there are 3 rushers over here. 1, 2, 3. So if the center steps to this side here, then the Bengals have this guy and this guy to block 1, 2, 3. So a lot of times these guys have a read. Oh, the center stepped to me, I can peel off. Oh, the guard stepped to me, I can peel off. And now that takes away these, quick slants that everybody wants to throw against sticks coverage because you got an immediate dropper dropping out of here who can get in that lane. And Landry's rushing free off the edge, just like the Dolphins DN was free rushing all night against the Ravens, if any of you guys watched those videos from earlier in the season. A 4-man rush, what looks like man to me, and they get to Burrow immediately. No one's open. Going to be very interesting to see what the Chiefs do coverage-wise and blitz-wise. Tennessee did not have, they were multiple, don't get me wrong. Tennessee was multiple, but they weren't extremely complicated with these blitzes, if you ask me. These were not intricate gap exchange things where people are running underneath, other than this one right here that they're attempting with Dupree. Dupree is going to stunt underneath like this, but I think the front side pressure wins the battle anyway off the left side of the Bengals offensive line. And surprise, surprise, it's Simmons. So here's Simmons again, and I think Dupree is going to be the guy trying to loop underneath. They didn't really need it in this case. I'm a little worried. I'm going to be rooting for the Bengals, I'll be honest with you. It's probably difficult for Ravens fans to hear, because I'm a Ravens fan, so why would I be rooting for them? Look, the way I've always looked at things is if someone in our conference in high school or someone in our division in football can go ahead and go win the thing, then that says good things about us. It gives us a measuring stick, I guess you will say. Do I think they're going to go in there and beat the Chiefs? No, I don't. My brain says no. But there's a little piece of my brain that says they can go in there and compete. The defense has played quite well, which was the original tone and tenor of this video. I think they gave up 19 points to the Raiders at home in the wild card round, and then they gave up 16 points to the Titans on the road. And I think the Titans really had some issues with their play calls. Point being, this Bengals defense is better than people believe, and they're going to have to be very good to even slow down this Chiefs offense, which I think has scored 42 or 40 points or more in each of their last two playoff games. So let me know what you guys think of the video, what you think of the Bengals protection issues, if you think they're as big a deal as I think they are. I think that their protection issues could keep, if the Bengals don't come out to a hot start offensively, and they don't come out defensively locked in, they could be down 14-0 in an instant if the offensive line continues to have these issues, because you could be looking at strip sacks, turnovers, or 3-and-outs quick based on, constant pressure on Joe Burrow, or, God forbid, even some sacks. Let me know what you guys think of the video in the comments section, what you think of the Bengals' chance on the road against the Chiefs, who are attempting to become a dynasty, if you ask me, by winning their second Super Bowl in 3 years.